welcome to Raise Sensation. I'm your host, Dan, and this is What's New March 2023. And in these What's New videos, I'm going to be talking about titles that I've recently gotten that are hopefully no older than a year old. Be nice if I was making them about books that had just come out this month or whatever. But, independent comics, I can't keep up with them the way I'd like to, and you don't always hear about them. So, like I said, within a year. So I had gotten some things on Kickstarter that I was going to talk about, but when I received them, I had kind of mixed emotions about them, and so I decided not to talk about them right away. So I will talk about them in the future after I've mulled over how I feel about them for a while. In the meantime, I had seen an anthology comic that had been put out by a Canadian publisher that had some old-time cartoonists that I enjoyed and I followed back in the day. And I thought, I'd like to check that out. But the postage from Canada was pretty much as much as the book itself. And luckily for me, I live in Baltimore, which has a great bookstore called Atomic Books that carries a lot of independent comics. And so I decided to go on over there and see if they had it in stock. And sure enough, they did. And while I was there, because I don't have that much money to spend on stuff. I like a lot of different things, but I don't have money to pick up everything I want. So I hadn't been in a while. So I was perusing the shelves, and I found some other comics, and I decided I wanted them more than this one I had gone there to get. So I left that one behind. Maybe it'll be there next time I go back. In the meantime, I thought I would talk about the comics I did pick up. So this one is Magical Beatdown by Jen Woodall. Then I'm going to talk about this issue of Fangirl, Vulva Viking, and that's by Elizabeth Pitch. And then issue 10.5 of Noah Van Shiver's Blammo. 10.5, issue 10.5. So I'm going to flip the camera around so we can look at the comics better. Okay? Okay, so the first one I'll look at is I got 2 issues of a comic called Magical Beatdown. I thought this might have been issue 1 because it didn't have a number on the cover. This one said issue 3. This is actually issue 2. And this is a fun little comic. It's a takeoff on the Japanese Magical Girl comics. Best known for, Sailor Moon's the biggest example of that, although this draws a little inspiration from some other manga. And it's a real fun. It's kind of, it's very much a kind of a high school drama for the first part of the issue. There's some bullies who are being mean to kids. She really hates those guys. And there we go, Magical Beatdown. She goes out here, and it's kind of paced like a Japanese comic, too. She bumps into a friend of hers. Then there's those bullies who apparently know of her handiwork from issue 1, which I unfortunately don't have. She gets into a confrontation with them. Although not, they have baseball bats and knives, so I guess they're going to be really pretty rough on her. But she throws her magical, I'm not sure what that is. That is very Sailor Moon-y, though. Let's get this over with. So it goes from the blue ink that colors it. Once the magic starts, it goes into this kind of neon or hot pink color. And she turns into a big badass. and then the violence gets crazy. So this is not, this is more like Gonagi kind of violence more than Sailor Moon. This is like Devilman or something. And I'm not sure how well this hot pink is going to show up on my camera. But there she punches a guy and she puts it right through his jaw and pulls his jaw off. You know, grabs his tongue and pulls his jaw off. And then she breaks another guy's leg and all kinds of gruesome stuff. And then the final guy turns into a big blob monster. All kinds of tentacles and stuff. And they have a showdown. I won't show you the killing stroke, the finishing move she pulls on the blob guy. And then issue 2, very similar. Follows the same kind of pattern. You know, high school hijinks. Again, these guys are just like high school bullies. They threaten them but don't do anything. But she rightly presumes that they are secretly members of this evil organization, so she transforms once more. You see her entering the scene, turns it pink again, and then there's more crazy ultra violence with a guy having his face sliced off his head. And like I said, the action is basically the payoff for these comics. So I won't show you too much of it, but you know, there's the guy with his face slides off and hits the floor, and this guy tries to grab her hair, and her hair slices his fingers off. She like moves her head. She gives her head a jerk, and it slices all his fingers off. So you get the idea there. Like I said, the violence is really the payoff on that. So you know, the artwork, you know, very, you know, you can tell it's not a manga. It has that look of American manga. I'm not sure how to explain it. I really haven't studied it well enough, but I think some of you might know better than I. But it's really nice. It's really clean. It looks like it would be at home in the young readers section of the Barnes and Noble or someplace like that. But then it turns into this violent gore comic. So that's a lot of fun. I'm glad I picked that up. Next, this is I had seen some Fun Girl online. There's some pages from Fun Girl. There's a big book, a collection of stuff, but I saw this comic there. The book was there, but you know, the book was $30. This was $10. You know, I wanted to get more than just, you know, wanted to spread the love around a little bit, buy a couple other things. This is a fun one. Now, you think with Vulva Viking, and it kind of looks like, oh, is this going to be some kind of action and adventure thing? It's not. It's one of those funny slice of life things that would have been at home in the independent comics in the 80s or 90s. Anybody who's watched a couple of my videos on independent stuff knows I really love the female cartoonists of the independent and the undergrounds, and this does not disappoint. This is great stuff. Funny, spare style. You know, gets away with doing a lot of stuff. You know, I see a lot of cartoonists nowadays doing this, trying to do a spare style. It's very, very hard to pull this off and make it, and really make it work. Really make it enjoyable to me. Anytime I talk about artwork and whether it works or not, I'm really just talking about my own opinion. I don't like a lot of things that other people love, and some of the things I like get very little attention. So take that for what you will. I think it works in this case. I think there's great storytelling here. Very funny stuff about this young woman who's unlucky at work. She, mainly because of her own goofiness, and she doesn't do well in the romance department. Then she meets a heavenly looking dream skate boy, and you know, gets a date. And look, I think, is that like a callback to American Beauty? Because isn't that about I think that's about Kevin Spacey having sex with an underage girl or something. So I don't know. Maybe that's not what maybe it's just meant to be a generic "I'm in love, so I'm covered with flowers" thing. I don't know. Um, she gets into shenanigans, has fun with her roommates. It's really good. But then, the big high point of all this is she's having sex with her new handsome boyfriend, and then she disfigures him through using her while she's on top of his face. She somehow crushes his face so that then his face is in the shape of her vagina, and so there he is now, and he's really angry with her, and she's really sad, and it's just coming to grips with what she's done. I'm sure we can relate to that pretty easily. Anyway, really happy with this one too. I really like the art. I really like the color of it, the printing, and I think it's funny. She has some funny dialogue and situations, and so there you go, Volvo Viking. And the final one is Noah Van Shiver, I guess you say his name. He's had a couple of high-profile things. His book about Joseph Smith, the founder of the Latter-day Saints. I got that out of the library, and I read it. It wasn't entirely my cup of tea, but you could tell how much work went into it, and it was very interesting. He had this the complete works of Feint Bukowski, his jab at pretentious young writers who, as soon as they start writing, want to be considered in the same breath as their heroes. And that's the way he draws himself. So he's drawn himself in here. And there's the Bukowski figure. I really like this one because I've known a lot of, people. I've bumped into people who have this kind of pretentiousness about themselves, but also it's kind of like the raw courage to believe that what they're putting out there, or maybe they're so clueless, that they're putting work out there that's kind of like, what? Everyone else is going, what? But they believe in themselves, and anyway, this is a fun book. But we're here to talk about the new magazine. This just came out this year. This is his regular comic that he's still doing, even after his Joseph Smith book was, I don't know if it was a big hit or not, but it got a lot of press. This has a lot of autobiographical stuff in it. Like I said, there he is himself. It's very funny. Here he spends a time in a haunted house, and he has the kind of dialogue, an artist or a writer would have with critics, or more likely online fans or something. His work with the tones and stuff. These are very small panels, but you can always read them. Great cartooning, very fun. Then there's pages of drawings and stuff. This is a really great. He's a very funny guy. This is a really good issue. Here he is being abused by his son. But there was one part in here. Here's a tribute to Space Hawk. Now, this was in an anthology already. It was printed a larger size, and in my mind, I'm remembering it in bright colors, very similar to the comics themselves. And I remember thinking it was really fantastic. I mean, it's still good in this in this way, I guess. I mean, I think if I hadn't seen the different printing, I would like this a lot more. But it is odd. I guess he's you know aside from that anthology, you want to have it with your own works and stuff. So throw it in here. This is a good Space Hawk. I should point out is a Basil Wolverton character, and everybody loves Basil Wolverton, and Space Hawk is that's someone he did used a character he used in a bunch of stories. The early ones are really fantastic. Some of the later ones not so much, but this really captures a lot of the weirdness of those Basil Wolverton stories. Now the Basil stories, this is just so weird. Yeah, this one manages to be even weirder than the Basil stories, though. But it's a lot of fun. It's a fun little story. So yeah, this is a great issue. I recommend it. And there he's doing another homage to Basil, Lena the Hyena. Yay, emerges triumphant. So I really like his cartooning, and I think this is a great issue. So there you have it. Getting to go to Atomic Books instead of ordering online, where I don't really get to preview them, has led me to come away with, I don't know how much more of Magical Beatdown I'll get. I imagine this, I'm not sure how many issues they're planning to do, but hey, I'm enjoying it so far. This I really liked. I will definitely look for more of Elizabeth Pitch's work, and I've been a long-time fan. I think I actually met him himself. It's been so long ago at the Small Press Expo. I think it was him selling his comics. The first ones I got were small, independently published comics. And I think that was him at the table. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about him. I saw his comics and said, oh, those look pretty cool. And I bought a couple. I don't really remember what he looked like, though. So I don't know if that was him or not. But anyway, that's Small Press Expo. It's a great place to meet the up-and-comers, right? Okay, that's it for now.